Sinan's story begins in the heart of Anatolia, with the purest form of earth and rock. Born in the village of Arnas in Kayseri, he developed an eye for discipline, without even realizing it, gazing at Seljuk tombs and ancient Armenian stonework. However, his true school was the endless wars he joined after being recruited to Istanbul. He traveled tens of thousands of kilometers on horseback alongside Yavuz Sultan Selim and Süleyman the Magnificent. Imagine, one day you are in the untouched, massive forests of the Balkans. The next you are in the scorching sands of Baghdad. On these journeys, Sinan wasn't just a soldier, he was a genius soaking up everything like a vacuum. He studied Roman arches, Byzantine fortresses, and Persian brickwork on site and in detail. When the army needed to cross a river, he built wooden bridges so masterfully that they carried not just the soldiers, but the engineering dreams of an entire empire to the opposite shore. The speed and practical problem-solving skills he gained then would become the foundation of the massive complexes he would later build. A geometric feast beneath the dome. Do you know what Sinan's true obsession was? He wanted to imitate the sky with stone. In Islamic architecture, the dome represents infinity and oneness. Yet, until Sinan, those domes could only stand through a sense of heaviness, supported by thick, oppressive walls. Sinan did everything in his power to kill that weight and lighten the stone. When you enter the Süleymaniye mosque and lift your head toward that vast void, you see the laws of physics transformed into beauty. Sinan distributed the weight of the dome not onto the walls, but onto massive pillars called elephant feet and the arches hidden between them. This allowed him to thin the walls and open those iconic windows. The hundreds of glass panes illuminating the interior weren't just for light. They were there to melt the heavy, somber weight of the stone with radiance. In the Selimiye mosque, this quest reached its zenith. There, a single massive dome embraces the space so completely that you feel as if gravity has ceased to exist. This system, which modern architects still study with envy, is not just a matter of calculation, it is a philosophy of balance. Human emphasis in details. Acoustics and Air Sinan never designed a building as a mere sculpture to be viewed from the outside. He calculated the person living within it, their state of soul, and even their breath. He solved the magnificent acoustics, which we struggle to replicate today even with digital devices, using hollow clay jars. 64 jars, placed around the dome with their openings facing inward, ensured that sound reached every corner of the mosque with the same timbre. The imam's lowest whisper could find a home in the heart of a man standing in the very last row. Even more fascinating is the ingenious airflow system in Süleymaniye. At the time, hundreds of oil lamps were burning, and the soot could have damaged the mosque's exquisite calligraphy and decorations. Sinan calculated the placement of doors and windows so precisely that a continuous air current was created. This current funneled all the soot into a single room at the entrance. This Soot Room, a minor miracle, didn't just keep the mosque clean. The soot collected there was used to produce the highest quality ink of the era. Think about it. The soot from the light burned in a sacred space became the ink for the pen that provides knowledge in another room. This is the most magnificent and concrete example of Sinan's philosophy of transformation and zero waste. The voice of water and earth. It is a mistake to think of Sinan only as a builder of structures. He was the founder of a massive water system that quenched Istanbul's thirst. Bringing water from kilometers away through the Kırkçeşme conduits, the aqueducts he built over valleys represent the pinnacle of beauty and engineering. Those aqueducts still stand strong today. Why? Because Sinan understood the character of the earth. Before starting a structure, he would lay the foundation, pile tons of stones upon it, and wait days, months, or even years for the ground to settle. He did not rush, He was speaking to the centuries ahead. Legend has it that he never stopped watching over a work even after it was finished. During the construction of Süleymaniye, when a child claimed one of the minarets was crooked, Sinan didn't yell. Instead, he said, "Come, let's pull this minaret with ropes and straighten it." And he played out that magnificent theater until the child said, "Okay, it's straight now." When his masters asked why he did it, he gave this lesson. If I hadn't pleased that child's heart, he would grow up telling everyone the minaret was crooked and the majesty of the work would be tarnished in the eyes of the public. This wasn't just a public relations success, it was Sinan's deep interest in and analysis of social psychology. A humble genius. Have you ever visited the tomb of this man, the chief architect of the imperial realm, Mimar who was a guest at the Sultan's table? He lies in a small tomb in a corner of the Süleymaniye, under the shadow of his own great work. That tomb is shaped like a compass. It's as if he is telling us, I spent my life between the two ends of this compass, in measure and balance. His own seal reads El Fakirul Hakir, the humble poor servant. Sinan didn't just teach us how to stack stones. He taught us how to conquer the ego and how to create an immortal existence out of that nothingness. The magnificence we see in his works is not the result of Sinan's vanity, but of the deep love he felt for nature, the creator, and humanity. A silent message. Left for the future. Sinan's works are essentially silent messages. Every stone has a way of settling, every arch a carrying capacity, every window a target for light. We are only just beginning to read these letters today. The fact that Japanese earthquake engineers checked the foundations of Selimiye and noted there is no rail system, but the building flexes during an earthquake and does not collapse, is a testament to a knowledge of physics far beyond his time. He commanded not just the form of the stone, but its soul. Describing Şehzadebashu as his apprenticeship, Süleymaniye as his journeyman, and Selimiye as his masterpiece is the ultimate proof that a person can evolve throughout their entire life. Think about it. How many people have you known who, after the age of 80, could say, "Now I will create my best work"? To think of Sinan is to understand ourselves. It is to remember that works done with haste, vanity, and greed will be swept away by the wind, but works needed with patience, measure, and love will defeat time itself. Today, as we are trapped between white buildings and soulless concrete, taking refuge in the shadow of a Sinan work is not just entering a building. It is entering the presence of a wisdom that never ages. The stones are still there, and if you listen carefully, you can hear a song in every strike of Sinan's hammer. The human dies, the work remains. If this gave you a new perspective and an idea, you can support us by subscribing and liking, my friend. I have many more geniuses to introduce. Stay tuned.